ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಮೇಡಮ್. ನೀವು ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಆಚಾರ್ ಒಂದು 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೀವು ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ. ನಾನು ಲೈವ್ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಆಗ್ಲೇ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ವೆಯ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋಣ. ನಾನು ಲಿಂಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿನ್ನೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತೊಂದರೆ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೇಗ ಲೈವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ. 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋಣ.
2 ನಿಮಿಷ. ನಾನೇ ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋದಾ 2 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ?
ಆಚಾರ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಇದ್ ನೋಡೋಣ, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 2-3 ನಿಮಿಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ನು 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಇದೆ. 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಶುರು ಮಾಡೋಣ.
ಓಕೆ, ಆಯ್ತು. जयति हरेरिचिन्त्य सर्वदेवैकवन्द्य परमगुरुरभीष्ट वाप्तिद सज्जनानां निखिलगुणगणार्णो नित्यनिर्मुक्तदोषः सरसिजनैनोऽसौ श्रीपतिर्मानदो नः जैत्यजो अखण्डगुणोर्मण्डलः सदोदितो ज्ञानमरीचिमालि स्वभक्तहार्दोच्चतमो निहन्त व्यासावतारो हरिरात्मभास्कर जैत्यजो अक्षीण सुखात्मबिम्ब स्वैश्वर्यकान्ति प्रतत सदोदितः स्वभक्तसन्तापदुरिष्टहन्त रामावतारो हरिरीश चंद्रमः जैत्य संख्योर्बलाम्बपूरो गुणोच्चरत्नाकर आत्मवैभव सदा सदात्मज्ञ नदीभिराप्यः कृष्णावतारो हरिरेख सागरः यदितं तव भक्तानाम् अस्माकं नृहरे हरे तदाशु कार्यं कार्यज्ञं प्रलयर्कायित प्रभ हरिकथामृतसार गुरुಗಳ ಕರುಣದಿಂದ ಪಣಿತು ಪೇಳುವೆ ಪರಮ ಭಗವದ್ ಭಕ್ತರಿದನಾದರದಿ ಕೇಳುವುದು ಹರೇ ಶ್ರೀನಿವಾಸ. In the previous session, we saw how the concept of this grantha, Harikathamruta Saara, is reflected in the Namakarna itself, in the name of the grantha itself, Harikathamruta Saara. And then the number 2 point is how we should learn this Harikathamruta Saara. Dasaru says, Gurugala Karunadinda. See, he shows us the way. As it is said in Bhagavad Gita, Yajat Acharate Srishta. So he has learnt it from his Guru Parampara, and he is telling it with the Gurugala Karuna. So we have to learn it, we too have to learn it through Guru Parampara, Gurugala Karunadinda. And then what should we have to learn the Harikathamruta Saara? He says we should have Adara and bhakti in God. So then the question arises, is it possible? We are just starting Harikathamruta Saara. How can they expect us to have adara, bhakti? For that the answer itself is in there, Parama Bhagavad Bhaktaru. That means in our body, we have devatas, Surya, Chandra, and Rudra, Indra, Rudra, Garuda, Shesha, and for Bhakti and Shraddha, there is Bharati Devi, Vayu Devaru to give us. So actually, Dasaru prays. Dasaru is praying the deities in our body, and in them, God is of course there. So he is praying the devatas to give us adara and bhakti. Then the question is, whenever we start any great work, there we see always obstacles in our way. So to remove obstacles, we pray Ganesha. We don't stop it there. We pray our Kuladeva. And not just the Kuladeva, we pray even the Ishtadeva. Kuladeva can be anything. It's like Venkatramana, Narasimha. It can be anything. But we may have some Ishtadeva, like Krishna, whatever. We will have a Ishtadeva. So we even pray the Ishtadeva. When a Grantha Karta starts a Grantha, he also prays for the Grantha Pratipadya Devata. That is, what particular form of the Devata is extolled in that Grantha. Here, Dasaru is praying Narasimha. Narasimhane namipe karunipudu. That's how he starts the Mangalacharana Padyas. So, why Narasimha? Narasimha is Kuladeva too. His Ishtadeva too. How is the Ishtadeva? The tradition has it that he is a brother of Prahlada. He is Sahlada. So Narasimha is his Ishtadeva. It is his Kuladeva. And also for this Grantha, it is beside that. Harivisa, Naraharivisa. So the deity, the form that is expounded here is Narasimha. And one more point is the name. It is not just mere the name of an entity. It is the quality that stands for the name. Like it can be any name as long as it fits the description of what is God, the concept of God. Let me illustrate with an example. We call our mother Amma. What does it signify? It's just a relationship between us and our mother. It's the word itself is Amma, like as we say in Amavasya, the Surya Chandra is together. So the Amma means togetherness. Right in the womb, the child is with the mother. And even after we grow up, mentally, we are connected with our mother. And his mother is not just the name or the relationship. It also has, mother has, when we call Amma, we have a form and what all she did, everything comes just like a flash. Same thing in this name, much more. It's similar, it's not same, it's similar. So what does this Narasimha stands for? Ara means, we can take there are hundreds of meanings and we have it in Vishnu Sahasranama. And basically, we have to go, whenever we talk about the concept of God, we have to go where we get it. The very concept of God, God is not like our Amma. God, the very word, the exist, everything comes from Vedas. So the Vedas have to tell us. That's where we have to find. It's not because some friend tells, our neighbor tells, not like that. We have to go. Why? Because God has given us the brain, intellect to think about, to do inquiry about. We call it in Shastra technical term, we call it jigyasa. We have to do, who is this Narasimha? Just a name, or what does Veda say about it? Veda, usually any name, anything, it has to be specific. It has to make sense in that name only. For example, if you say a cow, The cow, we cannot just say cow is something, it has 4 legs. You have to say cow is something that has a dollop here. That distinguishes cow from rest of the 4-legged animals. Same thing when we say Narasimha, in Vedas, we go by the etymology. It's that we will take, there are several meanings. We'll see 2 meanings. Ara. Ara means it can have ajnana, ignorance and dukkha. Na plus ara means narayana, not having dukkha. That means purna sukha. Not having ajnana means purna jnana. So now we get the concept of Nara. Simha means the Srishta, great, or it has other meanings too. So Nara will focus. It's like Narayana to we have Nara. So this Nara now we saw it is something that is purna, complete bliss, complete jnana. So the complete jnana, complete bliss means it has to be all pervading, all controlling, and it should be everywhere, all pervading, all controlling, and it should be in you, it should be in me, it should be connecting everything, every devata. So Nara means the quality, like all pervading and all controlling, purna jnana, purna ananda. And the Simha we saw, it is like Srishta, right? So it's not just that, because, okay, let God be all pervading, all knowledge, all bliss. What is in it for me? So the Simha says, Simha means see, another meaning is, see means himsa, that is that which bothers us, the problems, troubles, vigna, everything that is negative, that is affecting us. See, Simha means that removes it. That is the God who is complete bliss and ananda. Not only ananda and jnana, he removes the many vignas, many duritas, the kashta, everything that we suffer in samsara. He removes it. That is the word Narasimha. Like that, every name has the concept of God behind it. Is that all? No. Again, we have to go to the Vedas. What does it say about it? It says Veda means not just Veda. All the granthas we call sadagamas, all the granthas that are written in tune with Veda. And same thing, Dasara brings it in Harikathamruta Saara. So what does that mean? It says, it starts, the Mangalacharana Pati itself, if you see, it starts with Shri. It starts with Shri. We all know that Shri means, Shri is a Mangalakara. We address people, we address our gurus with Shri Kara. That is, who have all there are several meanings again for Shri. Here, basically, the meaning that we are taking mainly is Ashraya. That is the support. So the connection between God and us, all the jivas, is the support. Shri means Ashraya, the support. Support for whom? So he says, Shri Ramana. It starts like this. It starts with Shri Kara. We all know Lakshmi. Lakshmi gives us everything. That is, everybody knows. She doesn't need any introduction for us. So Lakshmi does puja to Narayana. Shri Ramani Karakamala Pujita Charu Charana. With her hands, Karakamala, she is doing puja to his feet. So here, one more concept of God is not like anyone we see in this world. He's so vilakshana. He's so different. He's not a man. He's not a woman. He is different from man, different from woman, different from everything that we see. So we should not here bring the gender like a wife serving the husband. We don't have to bring all that. So here Shri means she has Ashraya. She finds her support in God's feet. Feet means that gives us protection. So Shri Ramani Kara Kamala Pujita. Not only Lakshmi Devi, it lists the set of devatas, a long set of important deities. The Lakshmi starting from Lakshmi and then Brahma and Samira, Brahma Samira, that is Brahma and also Vayu and also Vani. By Vani they say both Saraswati and Bharati and Phanindra Veendra, and it talks about Garuda Shesha. Sometimes the same words can be used to describe Shesha Garuda also. That is possible in Sanskrit. So then Rudra and Indra, and from Indra and all other deities. All these deities are they are praising, Mukha Vinuta, they are praising the God. Why they are praising? Because they know it as what? God, then it says, God is Niraja Bhava Anda Udaya Sthiti Karanane. What has God done to us? Why are they praying God? Here it says Niraja Bhavanda. That means we know that from Bhagavanta's Nabhi Kamala, there is a lotus, a different lotus. Here it is Lakshmi Devi herself. From her, all the 14 verses, that means basically it says all the Brahmanda. By saying the Brahmanda, the universe and beyond, he is Niraja Bhava Anda Udaya. What it means is again comes from Bhagavata, which has its base in the Vedas. How to make meaning for Vedas? Vedavyasa has given, which we are going to see later. So he has given the meaning. He says that he is the Janmadi Karana, it says. That means for not only the Brahmanda, which is a Jada, and people who live in that Brahmanda, not only people like us, but all these great entities who live in this Brahmanda. So he is the creator. So it says only Sthiti, Bhavanda, Udaya Sthiti. Udaya means the Srishti. Who is the Srishti Karta? So it talks about the Srishti and it talks about the Sthiti. Sthiti is a maintenance. So God does that. Narasimha, you can say Narasimha, we saw it's a Gunavachaka Shabda, the qualities, the Purna Jnana, Purna Ananda. Only such an entity can create all this, can bring the Srishti of all that. So whenever there is a Srishti, Sthiti, then he doesn't say about Laya. Instead he says, Udaya Sthiti Karanane Kaivalya. Kaivalya means moksha. So usually people say Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. So he, instead of saying Laya, he says Kaivalya, the moksha, the phala, the priyojana. Moksha is that, moksha basically is the sukha state. We have heard this terminology too. So whenever they say Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, 3 is enough. If they say 3, it implies 8. How? Because we have to use our intellect. We have to think. We have to do inquiry called jigyasa. So Srishti, Sthiti, and Laya, the Prasiddha 3. What for he is doing all this? The answer we get is for the sake of moksha. There should be some purpose for even God doing it. Here another concept is God is doing it. Narasimha is doing not just for any, there's nothing in it for him, because we have posited that he is a Purna Ananda, Purna Jnana. He doesn't need anything. That's obvious. Then why is he doing? The question comes. Sometimes there are 2 reasons why we act. One is something that is useful for us, swaprayojana. Sometimes it's for the sake of others, or sometimes it's both. In God's case, we saw he is a complete jnana, complete bliss. So there's no swaprayojana. There's no selfish motive for him. So it has to be, we deduct it. Then it has to be for the sake of others. Karunya, that's what we call it. So he is doing it. So Srishti Sthiti Laya, he is doing. Why? Because there is a prayojana. It is of use to us because it gives us moksha, it gives. So moksha. Then again a question comes. Moksha means, we call it liberation. Then the question arises, liberation from what? You cannot just say, oh, it's for liberation. Then you will have to ask, liberation from what? Liberation from, moksha is from bandha, from the bondage. We say he is set free. He is set free from the what? Prison, right? So same way, moksha he does. For that, we have bandha. So all of us, the samsara we call, we are bonded, we are bound in samsara. Even God's, Lakshmi is different. Lakshmi comes along with Narayana, but all the jivas, starting from Chaturmukha Brahma, are in this very samsara. But it is different from them, but still they are bound by Prakriti. We'll see it in the next class, Lakshmi Tattva. Here, the moksha is from bandhana. So the fifth thing comes, Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Moksha, and Bandha we get. So then the question we have to ask, Bandha, why we are in this bondage? Why did we get into this prison? For that the answer is Ajnana. We have to accept there is ignorance. Due to ignorance, we are in this bondage. Then to get out of the ignorance, what should we do? What gets us out of this ignorance? Then we have to possess. There is jnana. So thus we have all the seven. But to regulate all that, to bring us into Srishti, to make us go through, Srishti is not just this Janma. It is zillions and jillions, millions of Janma we go through. Srishti is of every kind. You see around the world, see around you, so many things getting born and so many Jadas are there, everything, entire world. It keeps changing. So to regulate what we call as niyamanas, there must be a superpower, like that power which has swatantra, independence, complete. Independence is not a right word. We'll use swatantra. Swatantra means the swatantra. Tantra means being under whose control. Swa means God is in his own control. He is not under the control of anyone. So he is Swatantra. So now Narasimha is not only all pervading, all controller, he is also the one and only Swatantra entity in the universe and beyond at all times and all places. So this all this, that's why he can do the niyamana, he can do everything. And this 8, it applies, it doesn't apply to, there are 3 things we saw. It's like, we saw the Jiva, we saw the Jada, and Lakshmi Devi is totally different. So the 8 here applies only for Chetanas, like people like us, Devatas, every Chetana, every sentient being, all the 8 applies. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Moksha, Bandha, Jnana, Ajnana, Niyamana. Everything applies for us. For the Jada, you take table, chair, or mud, sand, whatever you take. Jnana, Ajnana doesn't even apply. Bandha, Moksha doesn't even apply. So you deduct 4, you get 4. So 4 things for Jada. What about Lakshmi? She's a special category. For her, there is no bandha, because there is no bandha, there is no moksha for us. But the 6 applies, but it is different. Lakshmi Srishti is not like us. She is there in all times, along with Narayana, everywhere, every place. She doesn't have swatantra, but she has everything else. So Lakshmi's Srishti is similar, to put it in a simple way. Like she avatara, she takes an avatar. We'll do it in the next session about Lakshmi. Like here, it's enough to know that she has avatara. People see her in those times, and then she ends her avatara like that. Srishti, like that's it's a special way we call it for Srishti and Laya. What applies to Lakshmi is totally different. So Lakshmi, 6 things. So you see, starting from Lakshmi, everyone's this Vyapara, Ashta Vyapara or 6 Vyapara or 4 is under the control of Narasimha. So that's why we worship him. That's why it says Niraja Bhavandodaya Stitikaranane Kaivalya Dayaka Narasimhane Namipe. He says Namipe. Namipe means I am doing namaskara to you. Namaskara. Namaskara is we just do the namaskara. We fall at their feet, and with Ashtanga, Panchanga, we do the namaskara to people. What does that? It's not just an exercise. Nama. Nama means mama. Mama means me feeling. Ahankara, we saw. I did it. I, the feeling of I, the attachment, excessive attachment. I doing, abhimana, we say that. Ahankara, mamakara, me and mine. You give up. That is na mama. So all these devatas know it. All these devatas do it. Lakshmi, starting with Lakshmi, everybody is doing. And whatever we say, acharate sreshta, whatever the great ones do, the lesser ones follow. So Dasara also says namaskara. He also does namaskara. So the lesson for us is we all have ahankara, mamakara. Someday we will get rid of it with these deities' help. And we will also do real namaskara. Till then, we'll continue doing it, continue learning it. Now, the second question comes. To learn, we saw that. To learn, we need a guru. That's why we saw Guru Gala Karunadinda. So how do we get all this jnana? Like we started like Sri Ramani Kara Kamala Puja, all this Ashta Vyapara. It's very, very, very exhaustive. So how are we going to get jnana? For that we saw jnana is not reading from a book. It's from the guru. We saw that in the previous session. So this jnana, Guru has to give. So we see how this Guru Parampara, Guru, his Guru, Gurubhyo Namaha, Paramagurubhyo Namaha, Srimadananda Tita Bhagavad Padacharya. So in between we keep all the Guru. Each one is connected. This Guru is, my Guru will be connected to his Guru, his Guru, his Guru. So it grows like an unbroken chain it goes. So where does it end? We say Madhvacharya, Acharya Madhvaru. So Acharya Madhvaru also gets the jnana. We say that he's still learning in Doddabadri. So for him, there must be someone who has given knowledge. So this is again, Krishna says that, Ivam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham abhyayam. There he says in Krishna, in Bhagavad Gita he says that he is proktavan. He says that Bananjacharya has given vyakhana for that. Proktavan is the key word. We wonder, right? Imam Vivasvate means the previous chapter, 3rd chapter, he talks about jnana. And he talks about the jnana. For jnana, there is no destruction of jnana. It is always there. It disappears and again appears. God takes it in and God brings it back. So he says, God, Narhari has given Moksha Dharma, he quotes to explain this. God has given Narasimha in the form of Hayagriva, in many, many rupas. He has given this jnana directly to Chaturmukha Brahma Vayudev, like our Madhvacharya, direct it is. Guru, Shishya. But after that, what happens is he says, Proktava means Pravishta. That's another, it's an abbreviation. Pravishta means we saw how Antaryami concept in the last session. So being inside Chaturmukha or Vayudevru, he gives the jnana to Rudradev. So being in Rudra as Antaryami, along with Vayudevru, he gives it to Indra. So Indra, and being in Indra along with Vayudevru, Vayudevru and Rudra, Garuda, Shesha, Rudra, their patnis, he gives jnana to Daksha. Daksha gives jnana, like the same way, Antaryami, he gives it to his grandson, Surya, Vivaswan. That's what it means. So like that, the Parampara comes. So, imam vivasvate yogam proktavanaham ivayam. So this Parampara prapta jnana, it comes whenever it disappears or whenever the jnana is not, it disappears. Atmanam Sujamyaham. He himself comes and gives it as Rama, Krishna, Gita, Bhagavad Gita. He gives. But here we are bringing the 7th verse. First verse, I'm jumping to the 7th verse. Why? Because Guru, God is not just all that we said, all that we saw. It says jnana, right? This jnana, he comes down as Vedavyasa, as a guru. In that avatara, it is completely jnana, jnana, jnana. He does it. So he not only gives jnana in all other rupas, he comes during Dwapara Yuga, when the dharma comes down, the knowledge, everything comes down from the Kruta Yuga, down comes, and people's longevity, everything comes down. That time he comes as Vedavyasa. So what he does is, the life being short and our capacity being short, very, very limited, he just speaks from the Ananta Veda. Ananta Veda means it is Ananta Kala Veda exists. So in that he picks only the Shaka Veda. He picks up only a select. He knows how to do that. So Vedavyasa picks up some Shaka, Rik Shaka, Yajus Shaka, Sama. So Atharvana. So he picks up the shakas, and the biggest help he does it is how to make Vedas, how to decipher their meaning. So he writes the Brahma Sutras. He writes Brahma Sutras are nothing. I mean, Brahma Sutra is it like a formula. So to solve mathematical problems, what we do is, if we just say A plus B the whole square, you can apply it across the board. So the formula. So Brahma Sutra in a nutshell, it is like a formula to fix how to understand the Veda. That he himself does. And to help further, he brings, through his shishyas, through his shishyas, he spreads it and he writes all the 18 Puranas he writes, and he lives and he shows in the Dwapara Yuga. He even Pancharatra Agama, whose Pancharatra Agama's essence is called Bhagavad Gita. Even the Pancharatra Agama, he teaches to Pandava. So he does complete Jnanakarya, because at that time the speciality is that section, Dwapara Yuga, due to Rishi Gautama Shapa, the Jnana, even among the, not the higher devatas, but the assistant devatas, at the lower level, among some of rishis and everywhere, the jnana becomes obscure because of the it's when Kali Yuga is about to start, so the onset of Kali Yuga. So the jnana becomes, they lose that jnana, they forget that jnana. So Vedavyasa comes and he teaches. Even today, Dodabadri, we see that, we hear that, and in Mahabharata Tatparya Nirnaya, Acharya has allocated an entire adhyaya for that. So that is what he says. And so he describes, how he describes is like, Vedavyasa, he describes Vedavyasa in the 7th Padhyala is Vedapita, Virinchi, Bhava, Shakra, all the devatas. Vedapita means Vedas is base, support. Means Veda is not like a Jada, Lakshmi, being in Lakshmi, in Veda. We saw that in previous class. So Veda, that he has made it as his pedestal. And he teaches to whom? Virinchi, Bhava, Rudra Devuru, Shakra, all that. If you say Virinchi, if you say Chaturmukha, all the deities he teaches. Teaches means jnana, there's no end. In samsara, we have to keep on studying, keep on. There's so much to learn about God because he is infinite. Nobody can know completely, but everybody learns to their capacity. Then he says, Moda Chinmaya Gatra. Because a lot of people think Vedavyasa is not God. So here he says, Moda Chinmaya Gatra. That means bliss and ananda. By saying that, he says, whatever we saw for Narasimha, same applies here. Moda Chinmaya Gatra. Loka Pavitra. Loka Pavitra, he purifies. Loka Pavitra also means he makes the world and the people inside. Pavivat means like precious. He preserves whatever we do, the jnana in us, he preserves it. Sucharitra, he sent a Sucharitra means wherever you see so many Vedavyasa has been depicted in some of the Dushta Shastras, like having drawbacks and other things. So he makes sure, Dasara says, Sucharitra, his charitre, his story, the Vedavyasa Avatara, he's blemishless, and it is so means it is totally different. Cheda, Bheda, Vishada. He doesn't have any doshas, internal, external, no doshas, and he doesn't have a beginning. Adi, Anta, Madhya, Vidura. He doesn't. That means he is there at all time. Devarus Avatara. He's not different from other avatars. It is there all the time. Then it says, it one is Adana Dikarna. Adana. He takes at the end of Srishti, we saw that, right? Moksha, he takes it inside Adana. And at the beginning of Srishti, he brings it back. Adana Adikarna. He is the Mulakarna for everything. So the Vedavyasa Prarthana, Badarayana Pahis. So that's how he brings it. So then the question arises. First verse, we saw Narasimha. Then the second verse should be Vedavyasa. But here, that's not how it is. We have Narayana and then Lakshmi. Each, we have the other devatas. Then seventh verse. Why the seventh verse? That after Bharati, where is Taratanya in it? For that the answer is, there is a paddhati, there is a methodology. Acharya explains this in Tantra Saara, quoting Pancharataragama. There is a way of worshipping when you start any Vidyabhyasa. You have a certain way. Here, the way is like, you have to first worship Narayana. Then the other devatas, the 5 deities like Lakshmi, Brahmavayu, Vani, Bharati, we have to worship as Devata Vandan. Then after that, same Narayana or Narasimha, he is worshipped as a Guru. Devata form is also Narayana. Guru form is how to make us realize in our Gurus. We worship, we do Namaskara to our Guru, right? When we do Namaskara to Swamiji, what does he do? He will be, we don't see it, but he will be praying his Guru. His Guru would be praying his Guru, like that he's gone. How they get it? It's always what we say, same thing, Mangalacharana. Any Swamiji will be having his own Mangalacharana shloka, or even Narayana Smarana. He will be having each one. It's not something that we like and we take it. It's given most of the time. It is given as a way of Upadesha. They pass it on, their Guru's blessings. So the chain is there. So the entire chain it comes. So the Gurutvena. So the Guru is, when Swamiji is doing Ashirvada to us, he is giving Upadesha to us, he has the complete blessing of all his Gurus, ending with Vedavyasa. So to make us remember that after Narayana and Vidya Devata Vandana, as Guru, we worship Vedavyasa, we worship. That's why it comes as Guru Vandane, Devata Vandane, and then Guru Vandane we starts, and Vedavyasa, then our Guru Madhvacharya. That's why it is 1 and then 7. But here we Gurugala Karunadinda, so I just thought of combining both Narasimha and Vedavyasa. So in the next class, we will see about Lakshmi Tattva. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Krishna Arpanamastu.
ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಕೇಳುತ್ತೇನೆ. ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಇದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಮೊದಲಿಗೆ ಜಾಯಿನ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಮೀರಾ ಅವರನ್ನ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಡವಾಯ್ತು, ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಯ್ತು, ಕ್ಷಮೆ ಇರ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಆದಷ್ಟು ಕೂಡ ತಾವೇ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು, ನಮಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು ಬರಬೇಕು ಆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ತಾವೇ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಉತ್ತರವನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಿ. ಆದರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಜಿಜ್ಞಾಸುಗಳಿಗೆ ಅನುಗುಣವಾದ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೇಳೋದಿದೆ ನನಗೆ. ಈ ಭಗವಂತನನ್ನು ಹೇಳುವಾಗ ಕೈವಲ್ಯದಾಯಕ ಅಂತ ನಾರಸಿಂಹನೇ ನಬಿಪೆ ಕರುಣಿಪದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಂಗಳವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೈವಲ್ಯದಾಯಕ ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. ವಾಸ್ತವಿಕವಾಗಿ ಕೈವಲ್ಯದಾಯಕ ಅಂತ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವನೇನು ಕೊಡುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧಗಳಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯಗಳೇನಿವೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯಗಳು ನಮಗೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬಹುದು ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ವರ್ಗವನ್ನು ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಭಗವಂತನ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ದೀಪ ಬೆಳಗುತ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದ ಹಾಗೆ ಕತ್ತಲೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಪುನಃ ಕತ್ತಲೆ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯಾಸ ಪಡಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೀಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯಗಳೇನೆ. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಹಣವನ್ನು ಸಂಪಾದನೆ, ನಾನು ಜಾಬ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ, ನಾನೊಂದು ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಈ ಜಾಬ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ದೇವರ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಅದೇ ತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೋಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವನ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ನಮಗೆ? ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯಗಳು ನಮಗೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷವನ್ನು ಕೊಡಿಸುತ್ತೆ. ನಾನು ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, ದೇವ್ರು ನನಗೇನು ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ನನಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಮೋಕ್ಷವನ್ನ ದೇವ್ರು ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು? ನನ್ನ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯನೇ ನನಗೆ ಮೋಕ್ಷದಾಯಕ ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇಳಬಾರದು?
ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋಮಾತೆನೂ ಇದ್ದಾಳೆ. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಚ ಕರ್ಮ ವಿಮಾ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಹೇಳೋವಾಗ, ಕರ್ಮ ಜಡ, ಕರ್ಮದಿಂದ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆವೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬರೀ ಕರ್ಮ. ಈವನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿನೂ ನೋಡಿ, ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಕರ್ಮ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದರೇನು ದೇವರ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕರ್ಮ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೇನೋ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವತಂತ್ರ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕರ್ಮ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಕರ್ಮ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್. ಒಂದು So that's a very good question. Why can't we do our duty? We do our karma. Why not from the karma we should give moksha? We should get moksha. So why not by same thing? So why not moksha from the karma we do? For that the answer is karma is a jada. Karma is a jada. How can a jada karma give the moksha? The giving, that part is, there should be a swatantra entity is needed. Also, we'll see it in another example. To do karma, any karma, you're going to office or you're taking whatever it is. So you need your eyes, right? You need an eye. For the eye to see, you need light in the eye. Did you create this eye? Did your mother create this eye? Did she give or did you give what effort you have done to give light into the eyes? And what about all the karmas and everything that you do, the object? Did you create the object? How are you seeing the object? For that you need a light. That light has to come from sun or whatever it is. So where is the question of any jada giving it? Where is the question of even the deity of the eye giving, deity of the padarthas, the objects, or the sun? Somebody has to link it, niyamana. So there should be an entity. The entity has to know all your karma and accordingly put people in your life objects in your life, he has to regulate it. So just a Jada karma, the non-sentient, it cannot give everlasting happiness for us. So we need, for Niyamana, we need a Sarvottama, all-knower God. And also that all-knower God should be all bliss. Only then he can give. So we need, God's hand is needed in every iota of things.
ಖಂಡಿತ ಭಗವಂತನ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇದ್ದೇ ಇದೆ. ಈ ಜಡ ಕರ್ಮ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಜಡ, ಈ ಜಡವಾಗಿರುವಂತ ಕರ್ಮಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಚೇತನ ಬೇಕು, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಸತ್ಯ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇದೆ. ಕೈವಲ್ಯದಾಯಕ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಕರಿತಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಅವನು ಕೈವಲ್ಯದಾಯಕ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕೈವಲ್ಯ ಮೋಕ್ಷವನ್ನು ಕೊಡುವಂಥವನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ. ಅವನು ಕೊಡೋದು ಒಂದು ಇಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ 3 ಜನಕ್ಕೂ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಇಷ್ಟು ಕೋಟಿ ಜೀವರಾಶಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೈವಲ್ಯ ಅವನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು 10 ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡಬಹುದು, 10% ಕೊಡಬಹುದು. 10% ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಕೈವಲ್ಯ ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವನನ್ನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಹೊಗಳುವ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇದೆಯಾ?
ಅವನು he gives not, see, the Srishti has been going on for beginningless time. Srishti has been going on from beginningless time, and Srishti doesn't even have an end. So there is ananta jivas, and it's not just 10, 15, 20. It is ananta jivas. He gives moksha. Here the moksha is also like liberation. Liberation is, again, we have to look into Shastra. What does that word moksha mean? Moksha means muktir hitva anyata rupam surupena vyavastha. What does that mean? It means being ourself. Ourself means this is not me. This, inside this body, there is something called a sentient, the jiva. So the jiva's connection with this external body is called moksha, being my own self and removing what is not me, the external, getting rid of the external. And this moksha, this kind of liberation is there for all jivas. All jivas. Good jivas get accordingly, by moksha here we means the sukha. They get good jivas. Then there are jivas who hate light, who hate God. They get just the opposite. And there are in between jivas. So this moksha, this liberation is for all. And even if you take the sukha, the vaikunta, and those kind of superior, ananta jivas have gotten moksha. And ananta jivas are going to get it also. So it's not just a handful of people. Everybody needs a liberation. Everybody needs to be themselves.
ಬಹಳ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಖುಷಿ ಆಯ್ತು. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿದೆಯಾ ಪ್ರವೀಣ್?
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಇದೆ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಸಂಗೀತ ಗೋವಿಂದರಾಜನ್. Thank you for your wonderful discuss. As per our Matva philosophy, what daily puja procedures to be followed for female folks and girls? This is for people like me, the beginners.
Is she asking how to do the puja, or
she's asking about the puja procedures for women, and like the procedures to be followed for female folks and girls. This is for the beginners.
Beginners, just namipe karuni pudu. So just bring your hands together, you pray God, you do the samarpana, and you can put haladi, you can put kunkuma, you can do the pradakshina, you can do the namaskara. But the main thing we need is the concept of God. When you do, whatever way you do the puja, when you do just the namaskara, when you do haldi or kunkuma to the vigraha or the tulasi, when you do that, you have, who am I worshipping? For a child, we can say that God is a superior one who protects us. For a small child, as you go, this Narasimha, you keep it in mind. So who we are worshipping, whatever we have in mind, That is what we get. When we have the right concept of God, the phala is right. So they can do the puja, they can do the Tulasi puja, they can do it. There is no nishidha for Tulasi puja. Or you can keep a picture and do the puja. You can put haladi, you can put a kumkuma with that, and you can, with a folded hand, you can do a pradakshina, thinking of the concept of God. You can do that. And I would suggest knowing more about God, the right way knowing, I would suggest. And also to teach this anushtanas, there is a special class our Chandrika Gurukulam is running, almost I think is on a daily basis. So I would encourage her to join that, where they will teach what should you do. Basically what we say is getting up in the morning itself is God's grace. So make a habit in a child. When the child gets up, just fold the hands and just say one name, Hari. Even that is enough. Keep it simple and short. Hari, think of God for waking me up. Think of God and put God in your mind. Whole day you do several things. End of the day, again, you pray God. You say Hari, Krishna. You say that. That itself is, for a starter, for a basic person, that's a good start. To continue, I would encourage them to join the Nityanushtana patas that is ongoing.
Yeah, those who want to learn more, they can join the Nityanushtana group for women. They can post their message, or they can just directly reach Chandrika Gurukula page on Facebook. We will connect you to the right person.
Hare Srinivasa.
Namaskara Acharya.
Namaskara. Whatever information was given is correct only. I'm just adding some additional information. So, Hare Srinivasa. So, I'm just adding some additional information. Kaivalya, how come, Kaivalya is given to only select people? So, the word Kaivalya has been understood. Kaivalya, moksha means that Kevala Sthiti. Kevala Sthiti means, as it is said, moksha is nothing but Anyatha Rupam Hitva Swarupena Vyasthiti, as mentioned already by the speaker. So that Anyatha Rupam Hitva Swarupena Vyavasthiti, that applies to all the jivas. That Kevala Sthiti is not just Nitya Ananda Sthiti is for select jivas, but for other jivas also, like whoever Tamoyogyas, they reach their Kaivalya. Whoever are Nitya Samsaris, they reach their Kaivalya Sthiti. So that Kevalatva, Kaivalya, which is moksha, is applicable for all the jivas. So they eventually end up at their final stage. The final stage, Kevala Sthiti, where only Swarupa Vyapara goes on, that is for all the jivas. So the Kaivalya is for all. And among the 8 Vyaparas, Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Niyamana, the first 4 are applicable for all the Samasta Jiva, Jada, Chetana. And the last 4, so Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Jnana, Ajnana, Bandha, Moksha, these 4 are applicable only for Chetanas. For Chetanas, 2 words are used. For Jnana, Ajnana, Bandha, Moksha, Paramatma is Karana and also Dayaka. That's why the word Jnana Dayaka, Ajnana Dayaka, Bandha Dayaka, Moksha Dayaka, and also Jnana Karana, Ajnana Karana, Bandha Karana, Moksha Karana. So he gives means he gives the ability, because for Chetanas, they have the Anubhava. The feelings are there only for Chetanas. For Jadas, there is no feelings. So it's not enough if something is just given to that. So God is also Karana. That means he gives them, he makes them experience also. The Anubhava also is given by the Lord. So Kaivalya Dayaka, not only Jada Karma, as mentioned by the speaker, the Jada Karma is incapable of giving anything, because Jada Karma is like a tool. God uses the karma as a tool, like we use a tool to cut a tree, we use like a big chainsaw. Like that, Paramatma uses karma, a Jada Karma, as a guideline, because that also again Swatantra, as a Swatantra, God uses that and gives then the Kaivalya sthiti. So it's applicable for all. Then for puja, how we should do? So the first thing, and the speaker already explained all that. I'm just giving some additional information. Stotra, namaskara, pradakshana, along with that, nama, rupa, guna, kriya, anusandhan. That means when we are uttering the names of God, think of the form of the God like a dhyana rupa, and then think about the gunas, the qualities of the Lord. So, and nama, rupa, guna, kriya, what actions the Lord in his glorious ways, what are all the actions he performs, the leelas, think about them. So this kind of anusandhana we call, that means bringing them together. Nama, rupa, guna, kriya. This is what the Nitya Puja, whenever we do Kinchanare, Mahamarkam, Mahum, Chitramacha, we say like, whatever we are doing the puja, in that I am a Swatantra, Paramatma is the Swatantra, that bhavana, if you bring in, that becomes a completeness to the puja. That is the ultimate ending factor for the puja. Swatantra, Aswatantra bhavana, that if we bring, that really enhances the puja process. So, Hare Srinivasa.
Namaskar Acharya. Thanks for adding that.
ಇನ್ನೇನಾದ್ರು ಇದೆಯಾ ಪ್ರವೀಣ್?
ಆಚಾರ್ಯ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 2-3 ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಓದ್ತೀನಿ. ಒಂದು ಇನ್ Dashavatara, we mean Narasimha Devaru is a form of Narayana, but you are saying that Narasimha Devaru is only next to Narayana. How is it? Please make it clear.
There is no difference between any form, name, and qualities of God. They are all the same, but what we call Vishesha. Rama is same as Krishna, but when he takes Rama as an avatara, we don't say Rama's Patni is Rukmini. We don't say that. There is no difference between Rama and Krishna, Rukmini and Sita. But for that Vishesha avatara, we say Rama, Sita. Same here, there is no difference between Narayana and Narasimha. But here, the Narasimha that I have taken, that the Dasaru is taking is not just the avatara rupa, in his Dashavatara. Another thing we have to know is God's avatara, it's not just the 10. It's a cluster. 10 is one cluster. We call it Vyuha. There's a one cluster for one set of things. And there is a cluster of 4. Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana, Vasudeva. Then there is a cluster of 24. Keshava, Narayana, Madhava. Like that we go. So even in Keshava, Narayana, Madhava, if you go, there is a Narasimha is there. And Dashavatara, we say Narasimha. Here also we say Narasimha. Like he is there. So this Narasimha, as I said, there is different functions of the Narasimha in the 24, the Narasimha in the avatara, and here the Narasimha. Narasimha is even before the avatara, even before the Dashavatara, Vaivashvata Manvantara mainly that come, though the avatars are there all the time and all the places, and it came into being for people seeing at one particular time, though it is there unseen everywhere. So this Narasimha, he existed even before the avatara. He is none other than Narayana only. I think, is that question, or there's something else?
I think, their question was like, it's almost same. Like they were asking, like if you said somewhere that he is next to Narayana, so there was, they got confused, so probably.
No. Okay, it's not next to Narayana. The verse, the arrangement of verse. I was referring, if the arrangement of verses, that was I'm talking. Narayana is same as Narasimha. I said I took that Nara and tried to.
Okay, got it. Okay, and the next question is fasting must? I think probably they are asking about the Ekadashi.
Yes, Ekadashi is mandated in Shastra, but there is a clause. If you are an Ashakta, if you have some health problems or you are unable to do it, the Shastra is not cruel. It is not at all cruel. It says what you have to do it. For some reason, due to health or other reasons, you are allowed to take some food, that is preferably uncooked fruits, milk, something. If it is not niche, it is Vrata times Chaturmasa, you have to avoid certain things. So Shastra makes provision for the Ashaktas, but Ekadashi fasting is mandated in Shastra. You should have to try to do as much as you can. If you can't do it, just ask for his, you cannot misuse it. You just ask for his pardon, that's it.
Okay, thanks for that, ma'am. And the next question is the Kaivalya state predetermined for all jivas, or are they determined by the series of karma pala accumulated over the series or several birth and death?
Pre-decided from God's point of view, not from our point of view. From God's point of view, everything is pre-decided only. God knows. That's why we famous one question is there. Just tomorrow, you are at a crossroads. You have to take left or right. You don't know. Now you have not even decided, right? You have not decided. Tomorrow, at this particular signal, whether I take left or right. But if you ask God, whether this jiva will take left or right, even Vayudevara will tell that. Because God, from God's point of view, he doesn't have time restriction. He goes beyond Kala. He can see the past, present, and future. So from his point of view, everything is pre-decided only. From our point of view, it is not. We don't know. We have to make every effort. Even that effort, God makes it do. According to our karma, according to our nature. He takes it. He takes us through the path.
Okay, thanks. Hope that answers the question. Yeah. Okay.
This is a huge topic.
Yeah.
This is a very, very loaded topic of karma. We will, as we go, it will, hopefully things will become clear. But still, if you have any questions, you can ask here. We will definitely reply, or in the WhatsApp group that was created.
Yeah.
We'll definitely answer.
Yeah, if you have further question, you can post it here. We will take it up in the next session for sure. And there's one last question. Who is the guru of Sri Jagannatha Dasaru?
He's Jagannatha Dasaru's guru. If you take the Suru, it is we believe in the avatara, right? We believe in that avatara of Jagannath Dasaru. So it is he is a Sahlada. So his guru is Ganapati. That's why it's Gopal Dasaru we take it. In his life, I'm not exactly sure. He would have learned it from his father and others. So from Swamiji, he would have learned it. He got it. So his Mula Guru is, his Guru means his Swarupa Guru must be higher in scripture. So it is Ganapati that we say he got it from Gopal Das. So that's the link we make it.
Okay, thanks for that. And this is probably a generic question, like please tell us about the attire or vastra for women during puja. Like what is mandatory, like what could be an optional?
Yeah. The vastra that we always say, achidra vastra. Achidra vastra means not stitched. So we say 9 yards. That is what is recommended. But I would like to add, it is not just wearing a 9 yards, wearing the kacha that is important, but the concept, why am I wearing it? How is it helping it? The achidra vastra, if you take, that is achidra means it should not have cut or stitched. It gives us the thought of karana karya, how the cotton thread, it is woven, the cotton is made by, God has given. So in that, the thought, karana karya, the thought should be there. God's thought, unbroken, that's otaprota. God is like woof and woof in the cloth. If you say, if there's a woof, there's a woof, the thread, cross threads. So like that, God has pervaded everywhere without a break, and he is protecting me. And then when you wear the 9 yards, we tie it 3 or 5 places, we make a knot. So we keep guards, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana, Vasudeva, we tie it, Panchakacha, we say, this one, I keep it. So that is the significance behind wearing a 9 yards. So that's why it is mandated, not as an attire mandated. It is to give us this anusandhana that is mandated. For some reason, if this is my personal opinion, for some reason, you are not used to wearing that 9 yards properly. What is the point in wearing a 9 yards, a lady who exposes everything, who doesn't know how to wear? And her mind is constantly, if she's wearing for the first time, her mind is constantly on pulling this side, pulling that side. Her mind is not on God. So I would say, learn and try to wear 9 yards. That's what is Shastra mandated. Personally, if you are not comfortable, wear any decent cloth that covers, makes you comfortable in the sense, it covers your body, it helps you, any cloth that helps you to keep your mind on God. This may not be very traditional reply, but here the purpose I'm saying is, your mind should be on God. Your clothing should help you to keep mind on God. So mandatory is 9 yards, kache. Ota prota rupa we call it. God pervades everywhere, that thought should be there. And the kache, 5 places we do that, or some people do it at 3 places. It is to signify, like how we have this dara, we wear as a diksha bandha. That's a diksha. I have 5 rupas in me. God's 5 rupas or God's 3 rupas I have. So that's the thought behind it. Try to wear. If you cannot and you don't, whatever we do is pradhana, apradhana. They are very important. What is main thing is God, thinking of God. That is the pradhana. Apradhana is what? Kinkara Shankara, they say, Acharya says that main thing is smarana. Vishnu smarana is the main thing. Other thing is secondary. But we always encourage people to do it the traditional way. Try to do it. If you cannot, don't leave the pradhana. What is important? The smarana, dhyana of God is important.
Thanks for that detailed explanation. Acharya, nimdenaru questions idave Acharya?
ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಈಗಿನ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಈ ವಸ್ತ್ರ ಸಂಹಿತೆ ಇತ್ಯಾದಿಗಳದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಒಂದ್ ರೀತಿ ಬಹಳ ಉಪಯುಕ್ತವಾಗಿರೋದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ಬಹಳ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗಾಗುವಾಗ, ಶಾಲೆಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಹೋಗುವಾಗ ನಾವು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತ್ರ ಸಂಹಿತೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಈ ತರದ್ದೇ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತ್ರವನ್ನು ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ಬೇಕು. ಆಯಾಯ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ತರದೊಂದು ವಸ್ತ್ರ ಅಂತ. ಆ ವಸ್ತ್ರ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ದೀಕ್ಷೆಯನ್ನ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ತವ್ಯವನ್ನ ಪುನಃ ಪುನಃ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅದರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಸತ್ಯ. ಈ ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಂದು ಕೂಡ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಹಾಗೆ, ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಹಾಗೆ ಧಾರ್ಮಿಕವಾಗಿರುವಂತ ಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಕೋಡ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದಿದ್ದಾಗ ಅದೊಂದು ಕರ್ತವ್ಯ ಪ್ರಜ್ಞೆಯನ್ನ ಜಾಗೃತಗೊಳಿಸುವಂತದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಂಶಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೀರಾ ಅವರಾಗ್ಲಿ, ನಮಗ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ವೇದಿಕೆ. ನಮಗೆ ಸಂತೋಷ ಆಗೋದೇನು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಇದು ಒಂದ್ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀರಾ ತಾಡಿಪತ್ರಿ ಅವರು ಮತ್ತು ಕೇಶವ ತಾಡಿಪತ್ರಿ ಅವರು ಇಬ್ರು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ವೇದಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಬ್ರು ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯಗಳನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಸಹಜವಾಗಿ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದು ನಿಜವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಖುಷಿ ಕೊಡುವಂತ ಒಂದು ವಿಚಾರ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಚಂದ್ರಿಕಾ ಗುರುಕುಲದ ವೇದಿಕೆ ನಿತ್ಯಾನುಷ್ಠಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟ ಹಾಗೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗಂಡಸರ ನಿತ್ಯಾನುಷ್ಠಾನಕ್ಕೂ ಮತ್ತು ಸ್ತ್ರೀಯರ ನಿತ್ಯಾನುಷ್ಠಾನಕ್ಕೂ, ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅವರ ಅನುಸಂಧಾನಗಳಿಗೆ, ತಾತ್ವಿಕವಾದಂತಹ ಆಧ್ಯಾತ್ಮಿಕವಾದ ಅನುಸಂಧಾನಗಳಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳ ಮೂಲಕವಾಗಿ, ಪಾಠಗಳ ಮೂಲಕವಾಗಿ, ಈ ತರದ ಚಿಂತನೆಗಳ ಮೂಲಕವಾಗಿ ವೇದಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಕೊಡಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಇಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಗುರುಗಳ ಒಂದು ಕಾರುಣ್ಯದಿಂದ, ವ್ಯಾಸರಾಜ ಗುರು ಸಾರ್ವಭೌಮರ ಅನುಗ್ರಹ ಮತ್ತು ವ್ಯಾಸರಾಜ ಮಠಾಧೀಶರಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ವಿದ್ಯಾ ಶ್ರೀಶತೀರ್ಥ ಶ್ರೀಪಾದಂಗಳವರ ಒಂದು ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ಮತ್ತು ಆದೇಶದಂತೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೇಶವ ತಾಡಿಪತ್ರಿ ಅವರು ಮತ್ತು ಮೀರಾ ತಾಡಿಪತ್ರಿ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ಬಂದು ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲ ಸಜ್ಜನರಿಗೆ ಯೋಗ್ಯವಾಗಿರುವಂತ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನವನ್ನ ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀಡುತ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಒಂದು ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ಒಂದು ಸಂತೋಷದ ಸಂಗತಿ. ಇಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಗಳು ದಿನೇ ದಿನೇ ಅವರ ಸಹಕಾರದಿಂದ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಡೀಲಿ ಅಂತ ಹರಿವಾಯು ಗುರುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಜ್ಜನರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಭಗವಂತನ ಅನುಗ್ರಹವನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಒಂದು ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನ ಭಗವಂತನಿಗೆ ಸಮರ್ಪಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅರ್ಪಣಮಸ್ತು.